always sounds like award show music. 43 and mostly cloudy, a slim chance of mid-afternoon showers today. High, get this, all the way in the mid-50s at 56 degrees. And then tomorrow, sunny and low 50s. We continue mid-50s on Thursday, and then we start to cool off on Friday. 43 with some clouds now at 6:53.
Apple's focus on U.S. manufacturing isn't exactly new.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Viking, exploring the world in comfort. With a fleet of small ships, Viking offers travel experiences for the thinking person. Discover more at Viking.com.
I'm David Brancaccio. Apple has a pattern of announcing big investments in U.S. jobs at the start of new presidential administrations. In 2021, at the dawn of the Biden administration, there was a big package. Now, a $500 billion investment announcement from Apple for its U.S. operations over the next 4 years. That includes everything from building a new factory in Texas to making back-end computers to process data for artificial intelligence to 20,000 more researchers to shows and movies for Apple TV. An analysis in the Wall Street Journal finds the money is in line with previous trend lines for Apple. As for the timing of this announcement, here's Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman.
Apple's announcement comes amidst the looming threat of new import tariffs from the Trump administration that could hit Apple's global supply chain and its biggest cash cow, iPhones. It also comes days after President Trump met with Apple CEO Tim Cook, who Dan Ives at Wedbush Securities calls
10% politician, 90% CEO, definitely a good poker move to make sure if there's loopholes, exclusions to tariffs, they'd get them.
Apple's got a lot to lose from new tariffs, says Christine McDaniel at George Mason University's Mercatus Center.
They're probably importing between 60 and 100 billion each year.
Apple now says it'll produce more domestically, especially cutting-edge software and AI. But as for Apple's overall production spending, says Angelo Zeno at CFRA Research,
we do expect an overwhelming majority to continue to go into China.
And increasingly, its low-cost neighbor, India. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
Meanwhile, an investment company analysis suggests Microsoft may have gotten a bit too over its skis when leasing data centers for AI and could be pulling back from some of those leases. Meanwhile, the China-based e-commerce giant Alibaba is pivoting to become an AI company. Bloomberg News says its AI investment, Alibaba's, could be more than $50 billion. There's still confusion at federal agencies over an ultimatum from government cuts artificial czar Elon Musk. He had given federal workers until yesterday to respond to an email asking what they did the previous week as a possible precursor to firings. But key parts of the administration are also telling workers not to respond. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has more.
In a post on X, Elon Musk said federal workers had to reply to the email by just before midnight Eastern Time yesterday, and if they didn't, that would be tantamount to a resignation. Now there are reports the Office of Personnel Management, basically the government's HR department, told federal agencies their workers didn't have to reply to the email and wouldn't lose their jobs if they didn't. Reuters is reporting that OPM also told agencies that if their workers did respond, they shouldn't include any sensitive or classified information. Federal agencies have taken different approaches. Some, like OPM and the General Services Administration, which manages federal buildings, still encourage workers to respond. Others, like the Defense Department, Justice, State, and Homeland Security Departments, told workers not to reply. Federal employees at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau got the email, even though they'd been told to stop working. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
Markets S&P and NASDAQ futures are down between 3 and 0.4%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Affinity, provider of the CRM for the private capital relationship economy. Affinity knows who has the best relationship with the right startup. Affinity.co/marketplace.
Some people call them snow machines. I'm from Maine, and where I grew up, we call them snowmobiles, or maybe just the big brand, Arctic Cat. Arctic Cat, owned by Textron conglomerate, says it'll stop building new snowmobiles this year, which will mean layoffs concentrated in Minnesota and the upper Midwest. Michigan Public's Tyler Scott has more.
On the shores of Starvation Lake in northern Michigan, the Hideaway Bar is popular with snowmobilers. Curtis Goings and his buddies are here. They came all the way from Indiana. They're thawing out after a day enjoying the trails.
We got a group of about 10 of us. We're always out there drag racing. We're always out there having a good time.
The speed, the fresh air, being outdoors, it's all a lot of fun. But Goings can only get out on his snowmobile when there's snow.
This whole week we've been up here, it's been beautiful weather. But the time before that, we couldn't come up because they didn't have snow.
This is the first time in 2 years he's been back to Starvation Lake. Warm winters have kept the snow from piling up. With more snow this year, Goings won't miss any opportunity.
Oh no, we're doing more riding tonight.
After a bite to eat, they hop on their sleds to hit the trail. Goings and his group are enjoying this year, but the trend toward milder winters isn't great for the snowmobile business in general.
It's the gravy train when snow hits.
Lenny Sims is the vice president of specialty vehicles at J.D. Power & Associates.
And if it's a good winter, the snowmobile market does pretty well. When it doesn't, it's a struggle.
He says sales of snowmobiles boomed during the pandemic when people were thirsty to get outdoors. Since then, low snow years, plus inflation, high interest rates, and other consumer expenses are softening demand for snowmobiles.
You're facing all of these other increasing factors, and the pie is only so big for discretionary income.
Jamie Katz is an equity analyst at Morningstar. Textron, the parent company of the well-known snowmobile company Arctic Cat, cited that softening demand when it announced it's indefinitely pausing snowmobile production sometime this year. Yamaha is also folding its snowmobile division. Other manufacturers have a bigger share of the market, including Ski-Doo and Polaris. But Katz says it's telling that 2 of the big 4 snowmobile companies are getting out.
You have this amalgamation of headwinds that has been really unsurmountable for a lot of these guys.
There's still a chance another company could swoop in to buy Arctic Cat and try to revive it. After all, snowmobile riders are a passionate bunch who go to great lengths to find snow, even if climate change makes it more difficult. In northern Michigan, I'm Tyler Scott for Marketplace.
Last week, we reported Joann's Fabrics, back in bankruptcy, will close many of its stores. Now, word is all stores. There were 19,000 employees there at last check. Got a lot of good people here. Nick Perez, Ariana Rosas, Alex Schroeder, and Erica Soderstrom. Our senior producer is Meredith Gerritsen-Morby. I'm David Brancaccio. This is the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.